All right. Well, let's segue into the next thing I had.
D23.
Well, I had two lists of things, but I think I'm going to skip over the D23 movies because as you got into the let's no more sequels earlier, you said, so just to go down, a live action Lilo and Stitch, Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, maybe 4, Zootopia 2, Avatar 3, a new Tron movie. I mean, there's a new Lion King live action sequel, and we can just put those aside
I could,
because,
yeah, I could skip all the, I mean, like Agatha, right? This is new.
right, right.
Agatha, it's all, Agatha all along. I like that. That's new.
But we,
Um, the movie, day one of D23 did not mean that much to me.
mhm.
My husband, when he heard it, Incredibles 3 was like, yes, I was like, wow, okay, that's all right, whatever.
Easy, buddy, easy. Yeah.
Um, but none of them probably in my top movie rotation is Zootopia. Like
Mhm.
we do watch it probably quarterly. Um, I don't have to cry. I never have
Right.
to cry
That's
when I
good.
watch Utopia. So Elemental is another movie I
Oh,
don't have to
so
cry
good.
for. So it moves up closer to the top of the list when I can enjoy a movie without crying.
Mhm. I agree.
So I'm excited for Zootopia. I'm excited for the next round. Um, but day two of
All right.
D23, there's a lot to talk about.
Well, so here is
But
the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
wait, there's one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before before that came a second trip for me in August 1st. Did you see that I went to Disney World to experience the Multipass?
Well, I did not see that's why you were going. I was going to ask you before we leave about being at Disney during a hurricane, but yes,
That too.
let's hear
That
about
too.
this experience of the multipass then, because I will say I was going to preface this with it, but when people don't want or don't think they need a travel agent because they can keep up with it, this is the kind of thing that you forget. And I mean, I love Disney. I love Disney parks, especially. That's really my jam. And I can't keep up with this. This new thing started, and I just went, "What do you?" I don't even know what to do. I don't know. The names are similar but different. The actions are similar but different. And if you're just
I do
some
say,
clown on the street, how are you going to figure this out?
wow, I do wish we could pick a name and go with it. I do understand, like, you don't want to get rid of the lightning lane. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
every sign says lightning lane. So, I mean, I guess, why buy all new signs? But
Who's got the money for that? All new
yeah, who has
signs.
money for that?
Come on.
But let me tell you, multipass Genie was a struggle. Multipass is a dream. It's
Ooh,
a dream.
I like that.
It was wonderful. All right. So we booked our reservations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to have a hotel reservation to do multipass, right? So, and you have to have, when you have a Disney hotel reservation, and again, these are Disney hotels,
Right.
right? Not Good Neighbors, Disney hotels.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a Disney hotel with tickets, whether it be a package or standalone, so like if you have tickets separate from hotel, as long as you're in a Disney hotel and you have tickets, at 7 days before your trip, you can go and select 3 rides ahead of time per day.
Mm. None of this 7 o'clock
Okay.
nonsense in the morning, waking
None of
up
that seven
and
o'clock. Oh, I mean, you do it at 7 o'clock. You can do it at 7 o'clock, 7 days
well,
ahead,
yeah, well,
but not
okay, but
7 o'clock every single morning,
right.
right? So now I was on a ship. I don't even know where I was 7 days ahead. So
Oh, so much
I,
struggle.
I went with 3 travel agents, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when they announced this change, the best way for us to help our guests is for us to experience them.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted the team and I said, okay, team, let's learn about multipass. Who can go? I have a room that fits 4 people. Who can go? 3 people can go with me. So I got the 4 of us booked, and one of the team members took care of the multipass, or three of them actually took care of the multipass in the morning because they also wanted firsthand experience of what it looks like to do in the morning. Okay. So 7 o'clock, go online, book your multipass for your whole trip, right? And a tip here is you still should not do it in date order. You should still go by which thing you want to ride most importantly and go to that park first. Because, for example, we paid $27 a piece for our Magic Kingdom multipasses. But in that $27, we got Tiana as a ride.
Oh.
We didn't have to pay for the individual lightning lane for Tiana. We were able to select it.
Well, I have a question. So,
okay,
clearing up. So, Genie Plus as an app, as a whole thing, is going. That's no longer a thing. Then
it exists anymore.
There's
all no reference
or multi. Okay, or lightning lane, whatever.
Multipass lightning lane.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so but that's the new name of everything. Like that's the overall.
Yes, and in both parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was also, I was like, so is that what they call it within Genie Plus? I was not even clear on that. So, okay.
Genie Plus is gone.
Okay.
I think, listen, it had such a bad taste in people's mouth. I think dropping Genie from it, probably a good thing. Also, at the signs at the ride never said Genie Plus. It said Lightning Lane. So the word Genie Plus is replaced by Multipass. And then Lightning Lane stayed Lightning Lane. Okay. So 7 days before, you're able to pick your 3 fast passes for the day. And I'm going to use the term fast passes, but lightning lanes for the day.
Fast pass. I like it. That's what
that's
what I was raised on. Fast pass.
Yep. Now, here's the golden magic. We arrived just our Magic Kingdom day, which has the most rides, right? Clearly the most rides. We rode 15 rides that day with Multipass.
Nice.
15.
That's
plus shows, like we saw Country Bear Jamboree, right? So we actually made it a goal to not buy, like we did not buy Seven Dwarf Mine Train. We didn't do a lot of rides that aren't in the multi-pass options because we could have ridden a ride that isn't in multi-pass, but we wanted to see what's the most we could get out of it. So we had a 1900 park fare breakfast that morning.
Ooh.
And so we knew we weren't going to arrive to the park before 11:30. So we planned our first park reservation between 11:30 and 12:30. We arrived at the park at 12:15 to get to our first one. From 12:15 to 7, we'd ridden 15 rides.
Nice. That's pretty great. I mean,
that's incredible.
That is like unheard of, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Like that's because the dates
and
of this
it was
is
a
July.
busy park.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was a busy park. Yeah. August 1st through 5th we were there.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, school's out, so
school's out. But it was incredible how many rides we were able to ride. Now, the second you scan into your ride, boom, you order your next ride. So we always had 3 lightning lanes. Always.
Wow.
And that is different than Genie.
Yeah.
Right? So here, I mean, you still have to be on your phone, so like this is important, right? But you don't have to be on it as much because you always have the second you scan your Magic Band to say, I've entered my lightning lane, you can request so then you go down to 2, you can request your third one again. And there's no 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
So all day we had 3 lightning lanes all day. And then it'd be like, oh, we could go on Haunted Mansion. Like our next one is Pirate and then this. And in a couple hours, we have that one, but I can get Haunted Mansion in between. Okay, boom, Haunted Mansion, go. Yeah. It was incredible.
I love it.
So we did a 7 a.m. virtual queue of Tiana. And then we also had our lightning lane of Tiana because we had gotten that with our 7 days before, we were able to snag a Tiana.
Well, I mean, you can't do better than that. It sounds like they're
Like
listening to the issues that people were coming up with Genie Plus and said, well, we could fix this. And
pay for it. It's
yeah.
still you have to pay for it 7 days
Yeah. Oh,
before.
you're going to pay for it.
But there is a big difference here. There really is. I think on a good day you could get 7 or 8 genies.
Mm-hmm.
We got 15.
Yeah.
With virtual queue too, though. So we had like 2 different virtual queues in the same day. So you could drop that down to 13, but virtual queues are free waiting in lines, right?
Well, people are
So we
mad, but
got
I love
Tron.
it. Do
Yeah,
you like a virtual queue? What do you feel about that?
I am torn.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's a way to ride the ride for free.
Mm-hmm.
We waited in Tiana's virtual queue for 40 minutes.
In the
I
actual
still think
line
that's
or in the virtual queue?
the
Like,
virtual queue return time.
oh,
So
okay.
our virtual queue return time, right now, there's no standby line for Tiana.
Okay.
So there's a virtual queue and a lightning lane line for like pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So eventually the virtual queue will go away and there'll be standby and lightning lane. But then that standby line is going to be huge. It will be hours
Oh,
long.
yeah.
So they always try to have a virtual queue start ahead of time and then let all the locals and the people and all the people who want to get that, experience in and done before they change it to a standby line. Okay. Because the virtual queue, you got to be up at 7 a.m. to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got the virtual queue that day, but then we had luckily, because it's all based on availability, we were lucky to snag a lightning lane. It took us 10 minutes to get on the ride when we got a lightning lane. It took us 40 minutes with the virtual queue.
Well,
So is waiting 40 minutes worth it for a brand new ride? Yes. Did we get soaked? Yes.
mm-hmm.
Did we still get 15 rides in that day? Yes, even
Mm-hmm.
waiting in 2 virtual queues.
Well, I mean, I have all kinds of memories, and like, all this junk back here is just things from my childhood. So many good times at theme parks, but two of my like vivid memories are waiting in line for a ride for 3 hours when it opened up, somewhere. And then one of the times that I went to Disney by myself, getting in line for a rock and roller coaster, and it just something was going wrong and it was going back and forth, and just waiting in line for an hour for, it's a fun ride, but it's a quick ride. So to me, I've been a fan of the virtual queue when it comes out because the call time, it's like, hey, come back here then and go spend money, go have a snack, go even just not stand in this line.
Oh, the virtual queue I love. But you do have to stand in the line once you are called,
Right.
right? Tiana's line had a lot of shade and fans. So
Mm-hmm.
that was very nice because it was a very hot day. It was August, of course, so it was hot. So they had fans blowing, a lot of shade. Where Tron's virtual queue, a lot of sun, a
Oh,
lot
really?
of
Okay.
sun. So I said we did a 1 p.m. virtual queue for Tron,
Mm-hmm.
and then the callback wasn't until after 5 o'clock. So luckily, that's like the heat of the day is already gone. So now if you wait outside, it's no big deal.
Well, maybe I might be a little skewed then, because when I got to go on Tron, I got in the first, like I was like group 4. So I mean, I walked
Ah,
into and got to go right on it, and no line, and it was misty. It was March, so it was nice. It was
yeah,
overcast, and I didn't think
yeah,
about everyone showing up at once and being in that line. But it's not like
yeah.
Slinky Dog where you're just in the sun baking,
Oh
right? Or
yeah.
is it that way?
Well, that is how Tron is. Tron is
Come on,
when
Tron.
when you now they I heard they were going to build some sunshades, but upon opening and everything, it was like full sun, and I'm like,
Oh,
Ooh,
that's
there
awful.
isn't a lot of inside. There wasn't enough inside waiting.
Hmm.
It was a lot of outside waiting, a lot of stanchions and wrapped and everything. Also, a very fast ride. You speak about Rock and Roller
Oh yeah, a
Coaster,
minute.
it's a 1 minute ride,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, that's what I told the
So,
guy. It was so fun. It was such a great ride. But had I stood in line for 3 hours for it, I'd be disappointed. And I mean, I had no notes on it. It was so fun. Like it really is amazing.
it was a
And
great ride.
especially, but I mean, man, just to walk into the park and get on it and just go, well, that was great. But if I, walked in and said, well, it's 9 and now it's noon and I've ridden this 1 minute ride and now I'm hungry and I'm cranky and yeah, that's a different
Right.
feeling. So,
I mean, I've gotten boarding group 1, 2, and 3 on Rise in the
mm-hmm.
past.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah. And so you're like, oh, that's good. But it is funny. I have stayed, like when I did that, I was staying over at, I think, Beach Club or Yacht Club when I got that. And I'm like, oh, well, luckily I'm here because if I were staying far away,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, I wasn't even ready to go to the park at 9. But I'm like, oh, but I have to now. Okay, get up, go to the park. I actually was hoping for like a 70 so that I could go to breakfast and
Right.
you know what I mean? Like lay back down a
You're Disney
while, have
spoiled.
breakfast. And it was like, oh, well, I have to get up and go to the park now. But again, I am an early riser on park days.
That's good. Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah. I'm just a morning person in general. So I'm the one that was like up at 7 booking things while I'm like shaking the children up. I'm like, we're not going to school today. Get up and get dressed. This is a fun day, daggone it. Dad's here and we're going to have a good time. So
yeah.
wake up. Well, so I mean, that is important stuff to know because, like I said, I've watched stuff on YouTube, couldn't really get a grasp of what's going on. And, even knowing if Genie Plus is still around. So that is something to, do not embark on this alone.
Multipass
Free
blown my mind.
service, travel agents, free service,
Yeah.
get one
Free
because
service.
come on now.
And education. Here's the thing. You could find so many varied information on
Mm-hmm.
all the Garabin websites, right? Like, do you really know who wrote the article? Do you know if it's not Disney's site, it's opinion,
Mm-hmm.
frankly, right? So that's why we take these trips. That's why, we get that's why we plan 30 days in advance to take 3 nights at Disney World so we could see how multipass works,
Yep.
right? That was a very impromptu trip. And it was who can go and okay, let's this. And then we're going to make a plan. And on the last day, actually, the hurricane had hit on our last day. And I had a guest with an emergency who was in Italy.
Oh.
So I didn't even make the park on my last day because I
Mm-hmm.
had to stay behind at the hotel and fix my people who were in Italy's vacation. Um, and we had a plan for the last day, and we completely abandoned plan. And 2 of our team members, and you should go follow them, Visit Mickey with Chrissy and Visit Mickey with Kristen. They did the 4 park challenge.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so you still have to go. Oh, this is really important. On your When you multipass, you pay for a park. You are able to opt out of that park and go to a different park, but your multipass cannot until you've gotten on your first lightning lane.
No.
So we had paid for Magic Kingdom on our last day. And when the hurricane hit and we had been to Magic Kingdom and we got all 15 rides in, they're like, why don't we change a plan? Well, you can't. You've paid your $27 to go to Magic Kingdom. You can't change your park to Animal Kingdom, which was only 15.
Yeah.
So it changed the plan. So they did go to Magic Kingdom and they rode a ride. And so their 4 day, I don't know, like 4 day park challenge if it's a thing, but it's go to a park, ride a ride, have a snack before you can go to your next park. So they
Mm-hmm.
went, they got their food, they got their ride in, and then they went to Epcot and they abandoned their other 2 lightning lanes. And then once they knew they were going to leave the park, then they can get on their app and modify their lightning lane. So they had a lightning lane for Tiana's actually, and they modified it to Guardians,
Oh well, I mean that's good.
right?
I would say a
So
better ride.
they were able to ride the ride, and they actually rode two at Magic or at Epcot. They rode Spaceship Earth and they rode Guardians. And then they went to the next park. They rode Navi and Flight of Passage. And then, how they got Flight of Passage, I have no idea, but it was on there. So they modified and boom, Flight of Passage. So they were able to do the 4 park challenge that day, get their food, get their drink, take pictures with it, and then
Hmm.
do the next. So that's what they did on that hurricane day in their ponchos
Oh yeah,
because it was
I
raining.
saw your video from it, and I just somebody had asked me the next day or last week because they know I'm a big Disney person. Like, what do you do? Do you get your money back? And no, 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 no. You buy
They
a ten
closed the
dollar
park.
garbage
Yeah.
bag and walk around in it. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
you make the
If
most of
they
it.
close the park, yeah, if they close the park, they give you more than you lost, but not in money. They
Do
give
they
you your
do
park ticket
did
or
they
two
close
days
it
back.
for that?
They didn't.
Okay, I was going to say I
Yeah.
didn't remember hearing that, but I just know that we've been
Yeah.
there, and it's Florida, so sometimes you just get 2 or 3 inches of rain in an hour, and then you're back at it, and
Yeah.
you just get over it because it's fun.
Yeah. They were going to get 7 to 8 inches of rain that
Oh my
day,
gosh, it's
but they said that rain doesn't close them,
oh,
wind does,
right.
because wind will, I've seen video of it. I've seen chairs flying across the park. I've
Yeah,
seen umbrellas come out of their table, and so that's what closes them, because that could hurt someone. Where rain's not going to hurt you, you're just going to get wet.
right.
But we rode Tiana and got soaked because I
Well,
was
there,
like, I don't care. It's raining and we have a Tiana thing and I'm going to get wet anyway. So let's
right.
go do it.
Well, I mean that's the attitude I told him. I was like, if you're going down there with that attitude, just stop. You gotta recalibrate your own self because
Yeah.
you're gonna get rained on, and you're just gonna have to push forward, or it's
Yeah.
gonna that's what it
And
is. So
our second Tiana ride, the second time we went, it was drizzling. And
mhm.
I'm like, well, it's a good time to get our Tiana in because we're going to get wet anyway.
All
And,
right,
and we won't care that it's drizzling when we get off the ride. So
yeah. Well, that I
we
mean,
were
and
trying to get
that's
on before the lightning started because they do
well, that's
close
yeah.
Tiana's lightning.
Any outdoor when they do right, is that right? Like the lightning.
Not any outdoor ride, but select outdoor rides. Because
Well, I
like
guess that one's
Dumbo was
event.
still,
Oh,
yeah,
Dumbo
Dumbo was still flying,
in the
which
lightning,
I
huh?
was like, aren't those metal?
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say that seems like the worst place to be, but up higher up, and you know,
yeah, Dumbo and the carpets were still
yeah.
flying,
Well,
but I don't know. I know you've seen some of the things that we posted, but did you see that view from the top of Tiana's? I
mm,
posted it. It is a fabulous view.
because you can see the whole
Fabulous.
park for the most part, right, from the top of that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like the center is the castle. Like center,
Oh,
like you're like
okay.
it's beautiful. And I have seen actually one of my friends was able to ride it at night and happened to get on it during the fireworks and got a
Oh,
picture of
that's
it. I was
amazing.
like, oh, that's what I want. But it was storming every single night and it was closing every night by 5 because it was storming every night. And the
Yeah.
day of the hurricane, I'm like, we're not getting on that ride today. So let's just ride it in the afternoon. I know we want to ride it at night, but let's ride it in the afternoon because we don't want to miss it because we had
Right.
missed it the night before.
We.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
so
mean,
good.
I I look forward to going. Hopefully, we'll get a trip maybe next year to get check it out. I know my daughter was real upset. She was a big Splash Mountain person, so I was like, well, it's pretty
Can
close.
I
It's
can I
it's very
share
up
my
there.
opinion?
Sure.
Can I share my opinion on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh who didn't love Splash Mountain? I mean, like, if you didn't love it, I don't know, you're how Disney are you? However, the animatronics weren't working.
Ooh,
They were
those.
like possessed. It wasn't about the music or the movie for me. For me, I don't think about that. Again, I live in the moment, and in the moment, it was the music and the sounds and all that I loved about Splash, right? I love the songs from Song of the South.
Mhm.
They're good songs, right? Now, this is such a glow up. It
Hmm.
is so beautiful inside. So no more twitchy animation, no more. It is gorgeous. What they've done to this ride is made it beautiful, beautiful inside.
Yeah.
It really is stunning. And when you see a character, if you think of the Navi River journey and you
Hmm.
think of the shaman, how smooth he is, all of the animatronics are like that. They're all
Nice.
smooth and beautiful, spectacular. Everything about that ride has been a glow up. It
We
is so good.
Well, typically I don't watch like the POV things before I go on them. I try not to, but we watched some of that, and I was like, this it looks very similar but beautiful. So
It's beautiful.
it's it's like almost like it's new animation where it's like this was cool because it was made when it was made, but now they're using new
Yeah.
technology and to do something similar,
Yeah.
but it's so much better because it's just better all around,
Yeah.
better technology.
I
So
I mean, listen, I had like when you hear something's going to happen, you start having like, oh, what will they do with this? And how could they do this? There were things that I thought they could do that would have like elevated it.
mhm.
But when I was on it and when I experienced the whole thing and I was down at the bottom and it didn't lose anything. It didn't lose anything at all, honestly. That was because those were pre-ride opinions.
Yeah.
I had pre-ride opinions that there were no issues with once I wrote it.
Well,
So
that's
good.
well. Speaking, and this is man, I'm going to get an award for smooth transition. Speaking of smooth animatronics, I bet you're excited for the Walt Disney animatronic that's coming.
Oh, yes. Okay. So when Josh Tomorrow says, we have been thinking of this for so many years, like 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to have the animatronics perfected. We had to have the technology catch up with us. I was like, I can't even believe it. So again, preconceived notion.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I see happening. I see being in the theater. I see us Friday evening, Walt's talking to us. We're in the audience, we're listening. And then I think the like side of the screen, the left or right of the center stage is going to be darkened. And then I think he's going to say, play it, boys. And then that part of the screen will light up because they did say there will be a piano there and there'll be a song. And then they had Megan Trainor sing Feed the Birds. So my preconceived notion is that's what's going to happen is that they'll light up and there will also be an animatronic of Dick Sherman there, is
Oh,
my
okay.
guess,
Nice.
playing Feed the Birds. Because they did say a piano was there. And they did say Friday afternoon. So Friday afternoon, what happened? He would have the boys later on, just Dick, come to the office and then sing Feed the Birds, right? Play Feed the Birds. Yeah.
And I mean for all the jokes people make about like Hall of Presidents and how that's dated and stuff. I mean, people are very excited for this as like a brand new similar thing, but the Disney people are, I mean, they're psyched. This is big
Super
stuff.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so again, people who follow the history of Disney and the history of Walt, they know how important Abraham Lincoln was to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like from a young child, how he felt about Abraham Lincoln and how he revered him for all of these years. And that it's like, boom, we need to make an animatronic of Lincoln. And they're not replacing it. They are putting it on I want to say a pause, but that's not what they said. They said a rotation. So what does that mean? I don't know. But I was just in Disneyland
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't go see An Evening with Mr. Lincoln, which we don't miss. We make it every trip. So we're like, oh, this is closed. That's sad. And now I know why. And I'm like, but I always say the same thing about Disney. If an attraction isn't pulling an audience, they have to do something. It's way, way, way too expensive real estate to
Mm-hmm.
not do something. So I can tell you from personal history, you used to be able to walk over to Hollywood Tower of Terror with no line and get in it. And now you are going to wait in line to ride Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Mhm.
It's one of the higher lines. It's one of the, with the lightning lane, it's like, okay, you're going to get that lightning lane at 9 p.m. because that's how popular it is. Or you're going to stand in line for 2 hours, 90 minutes maybe.
Right.
So I think, especially Disneyland, where they don't have the land so much to make a lot of expansion. So their real estate there really, really has to be used wisely. And maybe 20 people come to the Lincoln show,
Yeah.
honestly. And it's sad because it really is a great show. I also go to the Americas show when I'm in Epcot. I like
Mhm.
that show. I love the song. So yeah, I think they had to do something. What they're doing is genius. Every single seat will be filled for that.
Well, that's, I
Every
mean,
seat.
and every seat that's in there is not going to be in line for a ride that, you might want to go on if you're more of a thrill seeker. So,
Yeah.
well,
And if you
so,
just want air conditioning,
right.
you know?
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of air conditioning and sitting and stuff, you said you did the new Country Bears Jamboree. And I
Yeah.
talked about that on the last episode with the woman who had just been there. And that is something I never wrote as a child, but has been close to my heart the last 3 years. When we finally went on it, I said, "This is great. I can't wait to do the new one." And I've heard it's excellent. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, the announcement of maybe the demolition of one of my favorite best kept secrets that I also stumbled upon just a few years ago, the Tom Sawyer's Island, to become the new Cars land. So the one thing that was met with mixed emotions, it seems like a D23 this year, but once they said people online are mad about how do cars fit into Frontierland, and I understand that fully. And they said it was on the island. I said, all right, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm sad that for those of you all who are listening or watching who don't go, there's like a little river raft you could take across the river
Yeah.
there, and there's an
Canoe.
island, and there's a picnic tables. There's the mines from Tom Sawyer. There's a fort with strange old animatronic animals in a barn, and this is amazing. I had never been on that as a child, and 2 years ago we went. Now, what is this? This is amazing. Like just it's almost like you're walking into, I mean, like the 1960s or something. It's just so old feeling, but it's nice. It's like nostalgic Disney feeling. And
Mhm.
now that it's leaving, it's sad, but I've heard nothing but good things about Cars Land in California. So
All
Radiator
right.
Springs is that. I know it's not that they're not carbon copying that. It's a new
Oh,
ordeal.
thank goodness. Oh my God, I would be so annoyed. I'm already not thrilled
Right. Well, I
and
mean, you're not in the minority in that.
alone.
So
I'm
right.
not alone. So, did you stay up and watch it? Because those announcements were happening at like 1 in the morning. Did you
No,
stay up and
I'll
watch it?
I watched it later because I'm an old man. I was in bed at 10. So
Well, I watched it from my bed, going, "Oh, come on, let's stop having musical numbers and finish the announcements." Okay. After almost every announcement, you
mhm,
heard the roar of the crowd.
right.
And he had to pause before he could speak because of the roar of the crowd. He announced that, and it was like crickets.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's going, wait, what?
What's that now?
Wait,
Yeah.
no, wait. He did just say Frontierland, didn't he? He did. Yeah, he said Frontier. I'm confused. All right. I have been saying for a long time now, I do not want Cars Land to come to Walt Disney World.
Okay.
There has to be something that makes our parks unique,
Right.
right? Why you go to California? Oh, wait, yes, there's the Walt and there's this, but Cars Land is only in California. And Avatar is only in Walt Disney World. And the only place you can go to that giant, World Showcase is in Walt Disney World. And, see the animals is Animal Kingdom. I feel you have to keep things exclusive to some parks. It's a small world being in Disneyland where you could see characters incorporated. They say that will only happen in Disneyland because they need to keep Disneyland unique. So when I heard Cars Land might be coming, I was like, no, 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 no. So I did feel better when they said they weren't recreating Cars Land. They were not recreating Radiator Springs.
Mm-hmm.
They were just going to have toys, the cars running through the frontier, like off-roading through the frontier kind of
Right.
thing. I'm like, eh, well, you know, because
Hey,
I'm kind of a purist.
hang on, hang on,
So
hang on.
I don't
You
know how I feel
you
about
froze
that.
for a second. I
Oh,
got you. You said well, and then
oh, I said, well, I don't know how I feel about that.
yeah, okay.
That was how I felt when he said, we're not recreating it. We are
Mm-hmm.
not doing another Radiator Springs, but we're going to let them go play in the frontier.
We're putting anthropomorphic cars in the old west, which is
Yeah. To me, it feels wrong. And for the people who were like, how does Tiana's Bayou fit into the frontier? How do you think those people are going to feel?
right,
All the people who fought that are going to fight cars being in the frontier, especially cars that look like these cars. You know what I
right.
mean? We're not talking a Model T or, you know what I mean? We're talking Lightning McQueen and Mater. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan. And honestly, they have announced things in the past that never came to be.
Mm-hmm.
I am still hoping this is one that doesn't come to be, honestly, because there's enough fabulous announcements.
Well,
Monsters Inc.
do you know like
I'm happy for a lot of them.
before we started, how you said the last big event, they kind of said, "Here's some blue sky things, here's some stuff," and then do you think they kind of pitch stuff out there, and then they gauge the response, and they go, "Ooh, maybe bring that
Yeah,
in a little bit?" Okay,
yeah,
because speaking of the last couple ones where they said possibilities in the future, the villains area, then people were very excited about. So that seems like that's a go. Then
yeah,
is
yeah.
that I
Right.
mean, is that do you think that is that exciting to you? I feel like a lot of people are saying it's a like a response to Universal's like darker stuff, but I mean, people
Yeah,
online
the
were psyched.
epic universe. Okay, first of all, I cannot tell you how many Instagram video reel thingies, TikToks, whatever they are, I have seen. Because I think I really only watch Instagram, but I know there are TikTok videos that make it over there.
Mm-hmm. That's how I watch them.
Um, where Disney Park has confirmed a fifth park that's going to have blah 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 blah. Well, look at all you people. Yeah, I saw that even yesterday still, where Disney has confirmed a fifth park at their event. I'm like,
But,
I don't know what event you were watching,
right.
but it's not a new park. It is
Mm-hmm.
an area within Magic Kingdom. And I don't know if you were just, but I've seen it. And people said it will be the response to Epic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Villains Land, and what's it called again?
I just saw
Uh,
it said villains at Magic Kingdom. Was there did it actually have a title?
it has a name.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I can't think of it at the moment,
that's okay.
but it's going to be a Villains Land, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they've already shown some artwork of the Maleficent ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I will say my social media person and I, we were texting throughout the entire thing. And did you see how many boat rides they've created?
Well, I mean, a boat ride is easy, but I saw the people breaking it down, and it has this many rows and this many seats, and it looks just like this. That's in a different country's avatar.
There.
And I was like, whoa, these people! I am so glad I'm not a Disney content creator because I don't even know how you keep up with these things.
A land twisted and broken. So the artwork that they showed said land twisted and broken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's AKA Villains Land, but the artwork that they showed said a land twisted and broken. So I went to
Oh,
my yeah. So yeah, yeah. They call it a land twisted and broken. Da 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 kind of magic
it
mirror.
just seems like an
Um,
odd because it's always been like Frontierland, Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
all the different lands, and it's just well, they just call it Villain Land, just another because it's not
Yeah.
part of
I
the
mean,
spoken or the spoken whale anymore. It's
yeah. In Disneyland, it's Critter Country,
mhm,
and you know what I mean? Like there they do Toontown. So in Disneyland, they don't do it that way. So
just
maybe, I don't know.
but
But
people
still,
they're excited. It's a big deal.
and I will say, here's what it sounds like to me from listening to people and cast members. It sounds to me that half of like right behind Big Thunder Mountain
Hmm.
and Tom Sawyer area,
Right.
where they're going to do all that construction. So it sounds to me like they're taking that area and half of it's going to be the cars area, and
Hmm.
half of it's going to be villains. So maybe not half, maybe it's not 50-50, but those two
Right. They'll
places
split
are
it up.
going into that area. And it sounds to me like the entrance of what will be Villain Land is going to be at Haunted Mansion. Because if you
Oh,
think about it, there's nothing to the right of it
well, that
and
would
to
make
the
sense at
left of
least.
it.
It's
Yeah.
spooky.
Yeah. Yeah. So it does make sense. So there's a lot of work to be done, obviously,
Yeah.
because are they draining the water? Are they, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. The
Is
Mark
the
Twain.
Oh yeah, I mean that was another one of our go-to take a break, get some breeze, get to sit down and tell the kids to just
Yeah, the Mark
rest for
Twain is, like, so is that staying? Is it going? If you remember way back, I mean, like, I don't know how many years now. It's not way back. It's probably only like 8 years back. They used to have all that water around the hub, and
hmm.
now it's all that green grass area where people could sit.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that. Well, the hub.
Oh,
I'm sorry, what hub? What are we speaking of
okay. So Main Street USA Magic
here?
Kingdom.
Hmm. Hmm.
You get to the top and Casey's Corner is
Hmm.
on one corner, and then like the Plaza restaurant's on the other
Right.
corner. And then there was a little walkway. Then there was water. There were water and little
Oh
fountains and
man, you know what?
ducks.
I forgot all about that water there because now it is all just sitting in like
And now it's that
essentially
green grass area
right.
that's so wonderful. So I do keep wondering, like, how much water? I don't know. It's going to be interesting because they
Hmm.
didn't say what they're taking away. They just
Right.
said what they're adding.
Yeah, well, they don't want to get in trouble at the D23 with what they're taking away. That'll be, well, we had to make some adjustments. So,
Well, I mean, on the chopping block for Monsters Inc.,
hmm.
the conversation is they're taking away the Muppets, right?
Oh, get out of
But,
here. I'll be furious.
but, but now leaving the world of the parks, the Muppet Studios
Hmm.
is up for sale.
Oh,
So they have a deal in place that allows them to lease it for a certain number of years,
hmm.
but they sold the Muppet Studios. So to me, I feel like, okay. And again, who owns it? I don't know. Is it family? Is it corporation? I don't know. But they sold it and now they lease the Muppet Studios. So we can't lose the Muppets. But what happens? It is a very big area
Now you are
and it
breaking
is
my heart
underutilized.
with
But,
the way you said when they're
but
not drawing a crowd. That Muppets, it doesn't usually fill up when I'm there, but man, I love it.
no. Yeah. Well, and honestly, but even if you think of the
Hmm.
courtyard is also usually pretty empty. Pizza Rizzo, which I don't like the pizza, but I like the meatball sub.
I love that
I go
upstairs
upstairs
area.
and eat.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Yeah,
the, in that guest, like the
good.
club, like the dance room or whatever that's up there.
The
Yeah.
the wedding hall, the
Yeah. There
wedding
you go.
venue.
Yeah. I love it.
Right. It's totally where I go because
Hmm.
it's dead. It's like people don't even know there is an upstairs. But you can get air conditioning, relatively quiet if you sit outside the wedding hall. It's
Hmm.
quiet, but if you sit inside the wedding hall, then you get good music. So,
it's super charming. Like that is one of those like best kept Disney secrets where there's a
Yeah.
failed wedding venue at the top of the Pizza Rizzo for now, I guess.
Yeah.
And okay, so you've said it a couple of times. This Monsters Inc. door roller coaster sounds amazing.
Oh,
I just my
I'm
kids
so
wouldn't know,
excited.
but I'm excited. They don't do roller coasters, but
Oh,
I'm thrilled.
it's their first one. Their first like
Like
dangling
hanging, yeah.
feet. Yeah. And I mean, Marvel, the two rides for Marvel. Again, we knew about the one ride. This was not a secret. The second ride was a secret. Monsters Inc. was a secret. Pretty much everything else D23 taught us was not a secret. We'd heard before. But those two things were brand new and out of the blue and surprised people.
Well,
And the Monsters Inc. one is good.
well, I was going to say that that is going in then at Hollywood Studios. Um, was there anything else going in at Hollywood Studios? I'm trying to. I have this list. It's out of order. I think the other big things were
It is,
going.
yeah, most of it is Animal Kingdom.
Well, there's the new Starlight Night Parade at Magic Kingdom that looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
Thank goodness we needed a nighttime parade. It's been forever without a nighttime parade. It's so hard.
So is that
So
like the electric parade like that used to be, or is it
it
okay?
is, but it's updated.
Right.
So you know how, I don't know, do you know that they added new floats a few years ago
Well, no,
to the
I I saw I only remember seeing that one time, and then they got rid of it, and I thought, well, they just got rid of it to make more room for these people for fireworks, but now that's a lot to put back in.
yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah. Oh, because the blue fairy one that they did, the floats that they added were done so beautifully to the retro look of the old ones that I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I am all for I love a parade. I love, love, love a parade. So for me, I am like ready for a nighttime parade. Um, I do want to know. I can't get anyone to tell me what happened to Paint the Night. That's the parade I want back.
Mm-hmm.
Spectre Magic, they had to burn. So
Oh,
I know that that's never coming back.
yeah.
It got termites. So
Oh,
they had to light it on fire. So Spectre Magic is never coming back, but Paint the Night was amazing. And I wish we could have it back.
when now what era was that? Like years wise? I am not real good with the different people. They go on and on about the different
11,
ones.
it was 11 years ago. It was the 60th anniversary parade.
So 20, well, 11 years ago was
Oh,
2013. That's, I don't like
oh, well,
that.
10 years ago, because this is going to be the 70th. So yeah. So it
Okay.
was 10 years ago. It was the diamond anniversary of Disneyland's parade.
Okay.
Paint the Night. Go to my YouTube page, visit Mickey's YouTube page and watch it.
Okay.
We had center stage seats for it. So it's a good video.
We first started going as a family 9 years ago. So I just missed that one because we had a
Yeah.
newborn
It was
baby and it
Disneyland
was,
only.
oh, Disneyland. Oh,
So
okay. Well, then, yeah, I did not catch any of that. So the other big news in Florida then would be the Animal Kingdom getting the new Tropical Americas, which
yeah.
I I always loved the kitschiness of Dino Land, but it's just kind of junky. And
It's
again,
like going to church festival. I
and
mean,
that's kind of
to
what it
me.
was. And I mean, they even had the painted lines on the ground, like you were in a parking lot at the thing. And I thought this is
Yeah.
real cute, but I'm fine with that going away.
Yeah. Me too.
I and then the dinosaur ride, we went on that for the first time last year, and I had a great time. But it's my kids hated it, or my daughter hated it. She was terrified, so the other one wouldn't get on it. But I think the Indiana Jones. I mean, and it's strange to me. I'm excited about the Indiana Jones, but the last two movies in the last 15 years have not done particularly well. So it seems like a strange IP to bring in, honestly, to me. But I know the one in California is beloved. That ride.
Loved. It's so good. So
Mm-hmm.
very good. They're doing an untold story though.
Well, yeah, that is some kind of Mayan temple thing, and that I mean
Yeah.
I love it. Those first three Indiana Jones movies were a big part of my childhood, and actually,
Me
my
too.
daughter they showed Raiders of the Lost Ark in theaters here this summer, and we went. And she's 12, and she loved it, and I was very surprised. This is what PG movies used to be: a lot of face melting, a lot of people being shot because they didn't have PG-13 movies when your dad, he's an old man. But
Right.
I know this new Indiana Jones was a little rough, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I know box office wise, it didn't do great, so it was surprising to hear. But I'm all for something new like that.
I will say I want the story to be an indie story,
Mm-hmm.
not the chick from the last movie.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I feel like, listen, I'm so pro Disney. It's very hard for me to speak negatively in any way about them. But if I'm being really, really, really honest, not every story has to have a heroine. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We could still have heroes.
Right.
We can have a hero. It can be a guy. Because like lately, every hero of every movie has been a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have a guy be the hero.
Well, you better
It's not
watch
going
it.
to hurt anybody
You watch your
if we
mouth.
have a hero.
Well,
No, I mean, but hear me. I mean, like, do
yeah.
you understand
Oh, I
me without,
well, yeah.
you
Well,
don't have to agree, but
I
yeah.
was just kidding. That's like a line that people don't take very often. Is like, I think it's great that there are lots of new diverse people who are the heroes, but sometimes just plain old man, you know, it's not
I mean,
bad that
listen,
a man's doing it. It's it doesn't have to
when
be.
Anna saved Elsa and the love of your sister, I was clapping for days.
Didn't need a
But
man at
every
all.
movie since has been the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I think people
Like,
saw that and said, "Oh, we don't have to have the man could just be the dumb guy and the bad guy." I'm like, well, that seems to work because that seems to be reality a lot of times. We are the dumb bad guys. But you're right. Yeah.
I mean, like when they did it, again, heroic. I loved it. It was wonderful. But it was so funny to me now, a game saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 100% the women saved the day. And in the last scene, it's like every woman superhero defeats
Yeah.
Thanos. Oh, I'm unstable now. Did you hear
I
me?
heard you cut out. You said heroic and then you paused. So I'll say, let's go back. So at the end of Frozen, she the sisters got together, saved the day, didn't need the men, and then what happened after which movie after that?
Oh, I after that we had movie after movie after movie that the woman was the heroine
Mm-hmm.
and the men take a back seat. But Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
Endgame,
Mm-hmm.
the end scene is every woman superhero coming to defeat Thanos. Like
Yeah.
none of the men could do it. And I laugh. I laugh when I think about it. When I didn't think about it, it's just what it was. But then when I think about it, I'm like, that was a choice. It was a choice that the men couldn't get it done. It was a choice to say Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk. Remember the Hulk couldn't even hurt
No.
Thanos?
In the suit too.
The
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk
Yeah.
couldn't even touch him, couldn't hurt him. So and then turns out more powerful than anybody is the Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch,
Wanda.
right? She's
Yeah.
like Wanda, more power. And Marvel was thought to be the strongest, the most elite, blah, blah, blah. Again,
Mm-hmm.
now maybe Wanda could even be Captain Marvel. So,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, so and this is man, we are in the weeds here, but that is something I've heard discussed a lot because like personally, I don't care. I want an interesting story. I want a good movie, and I know people did not like Captain Marvel. They were just mad, and I thought this movie's fine. I'm not mad. I don't hate this
Oh,
woman. I don't know why everybody's mad at her. I did not care for She-Hulk. It was not
oh,
really
yeah. I
not
didn't even
great.
finish it.
No, I didn't either,
Yeah.
and it was strange. I couldn't get into it, but then people say, well, that's when they start saying, well, Disney's they're kind of losing their grasp on what I guess moviegoers want. And I've heard it described as the people who work at Disney is Whole Foods America, but the people that go to movies is Cracker Barrel America. And they're not their mindset doesn't always meet the same, but there's fine. I mean, there's people who do both. And there's no why can't you mix this up? Why does it always have to be they say, well, it's got to be the woman that's got to do this. It's got to be this diverse, this and that. And sometimes it doesn't have to be. And if you give everybody a little bit of each, everybody's happy. But if
Yeah,
it's all men saving the day, it's bad. Or if it's all women saving the day, it's bad. Or, and you're gone, you're
100%.
freezing.
I agree.
Okay.
There's no reason we can't, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But yeah, I don't get why. Now, I will say I enjoyed the Marvels, which were the three
Mm-hmm.
women. So Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel,
And the
and
little
Monica
girl.
Rambeau.
Yeah. Monica. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, can I ask you
from
something?
WandaVision.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you something? Who do you think that movie was for? Like, who were they? Who, when they sat down, said, who is going to pay money to see this? Because this was my thinking of where Disney was starting to lose it. Because we enjoyed Miss Marvel, the show. It was cute, that little girl. And then I thought Captain Marvel, I mean, I had no problem with it. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good. And then I thought it was strange they took the girl from WandaVision, but I loved WandaVision. But with all the trouble they've had to put the three of them together in a movie that was super expensive, but they're never going to make their money back on this. And I started looking at Disney movies as, did this cost $250 million? Who greenlit the budget for this movie that you knew people were going to be mad at?
Did you enjoy the movie though?
It was good enough. It wasn't my favorite, but we you know what, we really like the cat. I'm in my house, the cat.
Working.
Yeah.
I I just watched the Marvels this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Again. I've seen it like three.
Bless you.
Sorry. We both
That's
have
okay.
sneezing.
Yeah.
So I just watched it again, probably for the fourth time,
Oh
maybe.
yeah.
Um, I laugh
Mm-hmm.
so hard at that Flurkin scene every time I watch it, like every single time. I do think the next generation of superheroes are what's called the young Avengers now.
Mm-hmm.
They had to make a movie. They had to do something that said, we're going to start the Young Avengers. How do we do it?
Yeah.
So the end scene where you see Ms. Marvel go talk to Kate Bishop
Mm-hmm.
from
Love her from Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye,
So good.
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Renner, when you go through real superhero kind of stuff and come back from that, like you
Mm-hmm.
end up liking him even more,
Yeah.
right? So you want to see a raw Jeremy Renner, go watch Mayor of because oof, wow. Okay. It's really, really dark. But okay. So they have to establish the young Marvels, right?
Mm-hmm.
The young Avengers. So in
Right.
order to do that, I think that's what part of this movie was about because Kate Bishop is a young Avenger and um Ms. Marvel's a young Avenger. Also, we haven't seen her yet. I swear she's going to get an introduction, but Dorian Green is a young
Who
Avenger.
is that?
So I think this is the next round. Look at Thor and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
They're gods that don't age and they're aging. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they can only make so many more movies
Right.
before they can't make these movies anymore. They've
Well,
got to prepare these young Avengers and get them up and running.
then the
So
guys come
I think
back
that's
as
why.
like Iron Man is Doctor Doom now. We'll see how that goes. People were.
I'm so excited. That was such a great announcement out of Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So very good. Also, I was so happy to see him on the new ride, the Stark
Oh
Flight
yeah.
Lab.
That looks terrifying.
Yeah,
That robot arm just spinning you around.
I'm going to love that ride. And I'm going to love that it was Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark approved. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's actually how we're advertising it is Tony Stark approved, RDJ approved. Um, and that him and Bob Iger wrote it together to say, yep, he's still involved in our universe.
And that's
And
at the
he's still,
California Adventure, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Avengers Campus. Avengers Campus is amazing. And I will tell you one thing that's so good about Avengers Campus is the day a movie comes out, that character's in the land.
Oh wow.
The
Okay.
day. Yeah, the day a movie comes out, that character is premiered in Avengers Campus, the land. So to me, that is so like I got to see Wakanda 2, right when Wakanda 2 came out.
Hmm.
We were there just days after that movie came out, and they had the Dora Milaje, the ones that do the training. They had the guy from Wakanda who's the head of the gorillas.
Hmm.
He was there and he was doing a training and he was giving a speech. And I know he's famous for the line, "Are you done?" He says it like that. "Are you done? Are you done?" So like he gets someone to talk and they're talking about themselves and he does, "Are you done?" And then everybody laughs. Um, I also got to see the Falcon on that because when Steve Rogers passed off Captain America to Falcon, there used to be a white Captain America,
Hmm.
and then the very next day there was a black Captain America
Yeah.
because he passed the torch. So I'm just saying it's so good for a Marvel fan to go to California because the minute something goes live in their universe, it's represented.
Well, watching the announcements, it looks like, and this is what I've always heard, especially from Jenna. She would tell me that Disneyland is like the classic, and it's closer to what Walt, it was his thinking. And then California Adventure came along, and it kind of struggled at first, and then found a following. But it looks like they are getting all kinds of new things. I know you said you didn't want them to put it over there, or you wanted, you like exclusivity, but they're getting a different Avatar land. Is that right? It's not the same as the one in Florida. So
Yeah,
it's
it's going to
it's
be
based on a new
the
movie.
water.
Oh, the
Yeah,
water.
it's
Okay,
based on the new movie. Yeah, Water of Life or what do they call that
I
one?
don't.
Avatar?
It was
Water.
screensaver. It was. I did love it.
Anyway, it's a
Hmm.
water land.
Hmm.
It's a boat ride.
Yeah. Well, we love the boat rides. It's what they do.
Almost every ride was a boat ride, honestly. Not Avengers Campus. Avengers
Right.
Campus is getting rides. But the Villain Land, Land of Broken, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
Twisted and Broken. It's getting a water ride. Coco, the Coco ride
It's a
in
DCA too,
Animal
right?
Kingdom. Is
It's a
yeah,
California Adventure.
California
Hmm.
California Adventure. It's going to be a boat
It
ride.
it fits that though, I
So
guess, because it's water based. A lot of it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
I mean, is
thrilling,
it?
but it's well, I feel like they go to the world of the dead. I don't know what else you would do. I'm not an Imagineer, so
Yeah, right. But I just saying, like,
right.
I don't remember water in the ride. I don't remember
What?
water in the movie. We watch that movie pretty regularly.
Oh, what do they
There's
do?
no water scene.
Listen, I have a hard time with that movie too. I cry a lot during movies, but that one, when I realized the whole movie was about the dad, even though he was dead, trying to get back to see his daughter one more time. Oh, well, get out of here with this
Oh,
business.
Coco.
Out of
Yeah,
nowhere, come on, out of no,
yeah,
like it was just a funny movie, and then it was, what's this
yeah,
about now? And then I'm watching it. Oh, my baby. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so funny because three of us are criers in this house,
Mm-hmm.
and then my one daughter does not cry.
No,
And
my
every time she looks at us like we are idiots because we're watching these Disney movies and we're sobbing.
mhm.
And she's like, ugh. I mean, she like actually will do that. She'll be like, ugh,
My youngest and my
wrong
wife
with
are that
you?
way. Yeah. Me and my oldest daughter would just, we're watching something and falling apart, and the two of them are just, what's happening? And we're like, oh, shut up. Robots, you don't have any emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Where are
Yeah.
your emotions? Yeah.
You're the one that's wrong, not
Right.
me. Well, I had a question for you that I was not sure from what was seems to be going on. Where's this Pirates of the Caribbean lounge going? Is that going into Magic Kingdom, or is that at
Magic Kingdom,
Disneyland? Okay.
Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
talking about that, and then they
They're,
kind of just brushed past it. And I was like, oh, I
it's
don't understand.
already closed. So it's already in, like the
Oh,
walls are already up and construction's already happening. We
oh,
were
nice.
just
Okay.
there, a couple weeks ago. So when you exit the ride and
Mm-hmm.
like you would go through the gift shop area
Mm-hmm.
normally, so like it's part of that area is now closed off and you have to actually cross the street to go to the gift shop.
Oh well, oh, rough stuff.
way, before I forget, when you get either before or after Tiana's Bayou,
Hmm.
the beignets that
Oh,
are available just a few feet away. I mean, like you could see it. I did a video to show like how close it was. Um, it's where Pesos
hmm,
is.
yeah.
And you know how like you enter it from the main road, but there's an exit that if you just like keep walking through the restaurant, you get to an end road, like an end cap.
Hmm.
Just outside that end cap is Tiana's beignets, and oh my God, they're heavenly.
They look so good.
Of course, I love the beignets of Disneyland, which are Mickey shaped, but these are rectangles,
Hmm.
and they are drizzled with honey and then covered in powdered sugar.
Well, what is the wait in line for a beignet there?
Um, I mean, 5 minutes maybe.
Oh man. So let me tell
Not
you,
bad.
I went in March for a day. I had worked down there and I went to Magic Kingdom by myself and I it was the perfect time. And I looked online later and there was some weird thing about the people in Florida having blackout dates or something in school being in session and out. But I happened to just I rode I think 12 things in about 6 hours and I was living the dream. I've never had that. The longest line was right across that way by closed down Tiana's. There was a food booth that I waited in line 35 minutes for, but I didn't want like a meal. I was like, I'll just get this quick, thing and some chicken strips. And I was there. I couldn't believe how long that line was. So I thought with these beignets, because those pictures, I mean, I see them online. Like this is the new, and I thought, what a great idea. You walk right off the ride and get some powdered sugar snacks, and oh
It is right off the ride. Well, I mean, you have to like the exit, you have to like go around
yeah,
the
but
ride to
it's there.
get to the beignets. But when you're facing the mountain, when you're facing it on the right-hand side of facing the mountain is the entrance and exit. On the left-hand side, just a few feet away, are the beignets. And again, Disneyland's beignets are Mickey shaped and they are Mickey shaped and powder sugared. But these are like, traditional. And then they
Mhm.
have honey on them. So drizzled in honey, covered in powder sugar and and airy. Like you break them open
Mm.
and it's just like this big
Oh, you
air.
got.
And
I don't want to hear any more
I
else.
forget where I was, but I got a beignet and it was like a donut. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
like full. I'm like, no, I want the airy deliciousness ones. So they were airy and delicious.
Well, I can't honestly wait. I mean, I love a nice airy, like a croissant almost. Those kind, just any kind of like light, sugary
Yeah.
little thing, especially when you're walking around all day, because those calories don't count because you're just
Yeah.
doing
And
30,000.
if you have the dining plan, it's a snack.
Oh, hey. Well, of everything, then, because would you believe that we've been talking for more than 2 hours?
I
It is
know. It's so
so.
easy to do this with Disney.
So, of all the things at D23, I know you don't like to pick favorites, but if you had one thing that you were most looking forward to, what would you say? And we didn't even talk about the 4 new cruise ships that are coming. Like it's a navy's worth of boats that we've got at Disney now. So,
No, 13 ships now. Oh, here, I am going to take, I had a little bit of, I know you could probably hear my keyboard, but give
oh,
me
you're
just a
fine.
second. I'm going here, hit this button, go here, go there. And okay, so Monsters Inc., Coco Ride, Avatar Area, Tropical Americas, Lion King Ride, and Animatronic, Nighttime Parade. Um, oh golly. Um, I think I think the Monsters Inc. ride through the door,
Mm-hmm.
through the land of doors is very, very high in my top. Um, I think it's between that and the Avengers Campus stuff. I am such a Marvel fan. I think that ride is going to be kind of Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, and then the flight ride is going to be amazing. So I think it's between those two things. It's Avengers Campus versus Monsters Inc.
Okay.
I mean, I love them both so much, but they're so different, right?
Yeah, so those are both ends of the spectrum on there. I think that Monsters Inc. As long as they don't get rid of, you're scaring me, getting rid of Muppet Theater, then I'm all. I think that
Yeah.
sounds like the most fun to me.
Well,
So
so they said where the autographs happen for Star Wars. So that's Launch Bay, right?
oh yeah, well they can get that whole area is just it seems like an afterthought right now.
Except for it's been there forever.
Yeah, but I mean it doesn't
But
seem great. Like we went and did that and we met Chewie and all those people, but it was like this is some like Star
I'm
Wars
just
super fan
saying
area.
that but I'm hearing both things. I'm hearing some people say it's replacing Muppets, and I'm hearing some people say it's replacing Launch Bay. So to me, it makes more sense to be over by Launch Bay, which is also the kiddie area anyway.
It's close to the Pixar areas stuff too, isn't it? Like the alleyway, like all that stuff that used to
But
be over
it's
there.
where remember where the ride, the Little Mermaid,
Mm-hmm.
Voyage to the Voyage to something.
Yeah,
It's not even there anymore.
right.
Like that makes more sense, but that's also where the Disney Junior stuff is.
Well, I mean, my kids
So
are too old for
does
that
it,
now, so they can get it out of here.
yeah, I think that makes more sense to be over there
Mm-hmm.
than to be right outside of Star Wars
Right.
land, right?
I mean,
It makes more sense,
they
but
already
I don't
have
know.
that's three Star Wars areas they have then because they have the launch bay, they've got Star Tours, they've got
Yeah,
Batu. I mean, come on.
yeah. I say get rid of Launch Bay, and that would be good for me. I want to keep Muppets. Um, and wait, listen, the Walt animatronic will make my heart soar.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of overall guest appeal, overall guest appeal, it's going to be Monsters Inc. or Marvel.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, the Walt thing is way up there. It's if they do it right, which I think they will,
Mm-hmm.
and they said Walt's grandson came and saw it and cried. Okay,
Well,
that's
judging by
pretty
the
good.
reaction the like the brass statue got, I mean, I feel like the animatronic will blow people's minds. So, well
Oh
then,
yeah.
all right. Well, I will wrap this up with one question because you're such a big Marvel person, and it wasn't announced anything at D23. How long until we see the X-Men properly in a movie in the MCU? In your mind?
Well, no. Okay, the X-Men. I don't know. Uh, they've already talked about Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
Because
really don't know.
that's what I want. I was a big X-Men person, and they kind of they were kind of
Who are the X-Men? Tell me again, because I don't even.
Okay, Wolverine, and he was
Wolverine.
back in Deadpool, even though he
Yeah.
died, in another one. But they kind of opened it up with the multiverse, and how you could bring in
Yes.
X-Men from different
Yeah.
planets. And then apparently in the new, and we're really getting in the nerdy weeds, the new Captain America movie, they're talking about adamantium, and that's what Wolverine is built at. Like his skeleton and his claws are this like unbreakable metal. It might be what Captain America's shield. So there might be some of that built in. I don't know. It's this.
Like
So,
it's like the vibranium of
oh,
the other
vibranium was the
brand.
old stuff. So this stuff is, yeah, it's a different type of that thing. It's this indestructible metal that his skeleton is bonded with, and he only survived the
Okay.
operation because he heals up, and like that's why him and Deadpool, like you can't really kill either one of them, and they kind of fight a lot because they can't be killed.
Right.
But that's kind of the thing. Like the X-Men, the original X-Men movies before it was Disney were great, and then they just started getting worse and worse and worse. But then they made this new cartoon that's on Disney Plus. That's amazing. That X-Men '97. So
Okay. I
I
don't
just
know
keep
that.
hoping. I keep hoping that
Okay,
you know.
so Wolverine is an X-Men. Who else is an X-Men?
Okay, Cyclops. He had like laser eyes. You got Beast. He's the big blue furry guy.
So they introduced him in the Marvels.
Oh yeah, there you go. Beast was in. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just want a
Is the
proper.
thing
No, he's a
the
Fantastic
thing?
Four. He's the Rock guy. That
I
yeah.
can't keep which ones are Fantastic Four and which
Well,
ones
yeah.
are
It's
X-Men.
so I think the difficulty they're getting with the movies is the basic knowledge of people is getting to be. So I didn't read comic like when I was little. I loved comic books. Like I had all kinds of like I have a closet full of stuff that's not even on these shelves, and I loved it. And then I didn't read any comic books for like 20 or 25 years. And I thought, wonder what's going on with these characters. And I got on Wikipedia, and oh my goodness, it's like just a mile long. And they start telling you this convoluted story, and I'm like, how? What? What's happening in this? And they're like, this person who's the son of this person and this person's uncle, and you're like, I don't. So there's like 80 years of these stories, and now they're trying to condense it into something that people can understand by watching the show, watching a movie.
Yeah.
So I think it's very
Yeah.
difficult, especially to start throwing out. This is Fantastic Four from the '60s. This is not modern Fantastic Four. So if you're
Yeah.
mad that John Krasinski's not the guy like he was in Wanda
Oh,
or whatever, and then he's
I know. I hear that. I hear
yeah.
that.
They're like, no,
Like
it's a
I
different Earth.
understand that.
That's not our Earth.
Yeah.
That's a different Earth, and this is the '60s. Not
Yeah.
even the modern. And you're like, how does the average
I tell
person
my
wrap their mind around it?
husband you must suspend animation. Like you must suspend your belief
Right.
system for this movie. You must, yeah, like you have to like suspend reality. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
say. Suspend reality because yes, it can't be the same guy forever, which if there is an Iron Man and it's a different Iron Man,
Mm-hmm.
that's a challenge. There
Right.
can't be an Iron Man that's not RDJ.
Right.
But the young Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
there will be one. And he'll be in his 20s. He'll
Mm-hmm.
be a young 20-year-old Iron Man.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called. He has a different name. He doesn't go by Iron Man, but is that the Iron Heart or one of those?
Oh, Ironheart is a thing, and I feel like they were talking about that show coming out or a movie with. I can't keep up. Honestly, that's where I like when I was a kid. Iron Man was nothing. He was like a C-level person until this Marvel movie, and it's like I grew up with Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and now people are like Iron
Yeah.
Man's the best. Like Iron Man, what?
We're on our third Spider-Man, and all three were iconic in their time.
Mm-hmm.
But Tobey Maguire cannot keep up with Tom Holland,
Right.
right? Like, but in his time, he was an amazing Spider-Man, right? So, and there's going to be a time where Tom Holland gets replaced.
But see, in the
So
comic
I
books, they
kind of
all
feel
got
like,
killed, and they just brought a new person in. So will they keep doing that? I don't know.
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
be
So
mad.
in the comics, one of my friends, he's actually my attorney. He is such a super, super, and I use geek in a positive way, by the way.
Mhm. Oh
He's
yeah,
a super
that's.
geek of comics, a super geek of comics.
Mhm.
And he sent me a text message after all the announcements the other day. And he's like, because I don't know if you know who these characters are, because I didn't, but he's like, there is a rumor that the unidentified teen in Agatha might be Wiccan. And I was
Is
like,
Wiccan a
question
person?
mark? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Wiccan, yes, you'd say is a witch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a person. And then he said, that's the son of the Scarlet Witch. And then because he thought I wouldn't understand that, he said, Wanda's son.
Oh,
Like,
that's
well, I
funny.
knew who the Scarlet Witch was. But he was like, oh my God, did you hear? And I'm like, I didn't hear any mention of that. But he is in the comic world, loves it, loves it, loves it. He's like got all those little inside details and still loves the movies.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks Disney does a great job since Disney over the MCU. He thinks they've done a great job, but he was like, "Oh my God, does that mean we're going to meet Wiccan? And are we going to?" I'm like, I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
talk about your third tier character. Like I don't never heard that name said, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Apparently, Wanda's son.
Well, that's
I'm like,
so that's how.
yeah.
So we went to see me and my wife went to see Deadpool, and she enjoys it because she really likes Ryan Reynolds. But I was like, she didn't get half the movie because she didn't watch Loki, and so much of the movie takes place in. I mean, no spoilers, but if you
Right.
watch Loki, it makes a lot of sense. and she didn't understand some of the other characters because some of the people who show up as different people than you. I mean, some of the
Right.
people that show up, she had no idea who they were, and I was like, this is funny to me because I've seen this, but then
Right.
there's a whole nother level even past me. So I'm like, you have to appease, your geeky friends, and then people who
Yeah.
me, and then also people like my wife who are like, I just want to see a good movie with no context. I don't want to have to watch 90 hours of things to
That
go into this. So it's
that
tough.
was hard. I did not, you're gonna probably be shocked at this. I did not watch Marvel movies before Infinity War.
Oh, well, you missed some of the better ones. Well, but then some of those were
No,
bad
no, no.
too. So
But no, I didn't watch them. And one of my friends convinced me how wrong I was by not
mhm,
watching them. So she gave me a list and said, watch in this order.
that's
And she
helpful.
gave me a list and she's like, you have 12 weeks until Infinity War comes out. Here are the 12 movies you must watch before seeing Infinity War. And I did. I watched not every one of them because she said watch all three Iron Men. I only
Mhm.
watched one of the Iron
And
Mans,
that's plenty. The second one was pretty good too.
Yeah. I just had to get him. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And then you see him in Avengers, which was on the list, and you see him in Civil War, which was on the list. So I got to see him multiple times, but I only watched his first movie and then the Civil War. But anyway, and when I saw Infinity War, I was prepared. I had seen all the major stuff, and I took my 12 weeks. I watched a movie a week for 12 weeks to be prepared. And now I am such a super fan. I am
Yeah.
such a super fan.
But that's a lot of work though to go in, 12 weeks of movies to, enjoy it. But they
Yeah.
did such a perfect job that first round to get to Infinity Wars and Endgame that people are mad about it
Yeah.
later. But I'm like, do you understand what they did? They took, like I said, B and C level characters, made them the biggest stars in the country, the biggest movies,
Yeah.
and then put so
Yeah.
many together and just made. I mean, I don't want to throw it out there, a masterpiece. And I mean, you can say it's a comic book movie, but come on, it's to interweave all those stories together.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The interwoven skill it took to create that. And I remember seeing, I don't know which guy it was, which John Favreau, I think,
Mm-hmm.
when they're talking about now they're leading up to Infinity War. They're not even up to it yet. They're leading up to it, but they know where they're going to make it. And they start like they're like all of our movies were like we know this person does this and has connections with this person and it was all in all of their brains
Mm-hmm.
because they all made these movies together. And they're like we got to start writing stuff down and really making a trail, a paper
Mm-hmm.
trail,
Right.
a chart. And they said that when they did that, they couldn't even believe how much stuff they had, that it had all been part of their collective memories.
Yeah.
And when they put it down, they were like, ooh, they're like, we needed to put it down because it was getting, our world was getting so big.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were going to enter the multiverse, they knew,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
I mean, like I said, if you want to waste a day, look up any major comic book characters Wikipedia and just start from the top and just start reading their summary and go, oh, all right, well, I'm tapping out after about 5 minutes because none of this makes sense and everything is a blue link to something else. And I'm like, to make this into a movie
Yeah.
is good, good job,
Yeah.
guys. So,
Yeah.
well, it has been an
All right.
absolute 2 hour pleasure. This might even be a double episode because it's a quite a long one, but I will
Yeah.
put all the information to how to reach you and your crew in the description notes. And thank you so much again.
Great.
It was a
Yeah.
pleasure
No,
talking to you.
it's so fun. And there was so much to talk about this time. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it all. This is my favorite thing to talk about. So
I know it's so
anything
good.
Disney. Yeah. I'll cut this off and I'll talk to you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So too bad y'all don't get to hear anything going on now. All right. See ya.